Harry's homeless stalker
sent him 8,000 handwritten letters and cards.
This is really scary.
She got 14 weeks in prison and a restraining order over 10 years, and she cannot be around Harry Styles, girl.
I hope he's doing okay. I hope he's found somewhere that he feels safe, that he can stay.
Harry Styles is in danger, and there are several stalkers after him. One lady named Myra was charged for sending Harry 8,000 unwanted letters, but she's the least of his worries. A homeless man named Pablo camped outside Harry's home, stating that he was spiritually called to connect and protect Harry. Until one day, Pablo lunged at Harry Styles and tried to hurt him. After Pablo was arrested, he found himself and transitioned into a woman. So Pablo became Diana, and even though she felt like she had figured herself out, her obsession with Harry did not stop. And it got violent when she broke into his home and fought off his employees. Harry even went on to hire security, but then they quit because Diana scared them off too. I'm worried for Harry Styles, so let's get into it. If you aren't subscribed to the Let's Get Into It podcast, then you're only getting half the tea. For longer videos, deep dives, and of course, more of me, subscribe to the Let's Get Into It podcast listed in the description below. Something that really scares me about Hollywood are the stalkers, because there are so many celebrities and they go through some of the most horrific moments behind the scenes dealing with these fans that take it too far. For example, Harry Styles' fan is sentenced to prison for stalking him. Personally, I can't imagine having enough energy in my day to go and spend time trying to track someone else, let alone feeling the comfortability in doing so. Reports claim a woman who stalked Harry Styles has been jailed and banned from seeing him perform. Her name is Myra, and she was said to have stalked the singer by sending him 8,000 cards in less than a month. Not only does that seem really time consuming, it's probably really expensive too. I mean, one card maybe is like a few bucks, but then 8,000 of them? Details of the letter's content remained undisclosed, leaving many to speculate about her motives and her mental state. However, the sheer volume of unwanted communication speaks volumes about the potential impact on Harry Styles' well-being and security. I mean, they have taken it to court, so it's probably more than just like, I love you and I love watermelon sugar high. It's probably a lot more dangerous than that, because she was now sentenced to 14 weeks in prison. I mean, that's a lot, but it's also deserved because she is causing a lot of stress to Harry. And I actually really appreciate how they are handling it in the UK, because in the States, a lot of these stalkers get out the same day and they go back to the celebrity's home. A 10-year restraining order was also imposed on Myra, who was told she was forbidden from attending any event where Harry Styles was performing. Now, Myra has been staying at a backpacker hostel in London, and she was ordered not to contact the singer. Now, I wonder if Myra is at this hostel in London because it's cheap, it's easier to move around, and she could just try to linger in hopes to getting in contact with Harry Styles, which is so creepy. She was told not to enter an area of northwest London that was described in court, and she was also ordered to pay a victim surcharge. So she was ordered to pay a fee, and she was also directed to stay away from part of a city, which I think is really interesting. Like, there's boundaries she cannot cross because I guess that's where Harry Styles would hang out or where his home would be. Now, Myra sent the singer handwritten letters while in the UK, and she ordered a series of cards for him online that were sent to his address. Of the 8,000 cards sent, some were wedding cards, and 2 of the letters were hand delivered to Harry's address. And I'm like, oh wait, oh, hell no. I mean, hand delivered. Why is this woman allowed to not only send these cards, but even able to get into contact with the security to pass along the letter?
First of all, 8,000 cards? How do you write 8,000 cards in a month, bitch? But I have to say, like, this is really scary. Here's the thing, best friend, like, I've noticed living in Los Angeles that, like, there are people who like go to celebrity homes and like, you know, they stalk celebrity homes and like they, you know, all of these things. I'm just like, that's scary to me. To invade their privacy, like my mind will never go there.
One thing I would never do is go to a celebrity's home. I mean, that is just crossing a line. I can't imagine. I don't have it in me. I'd be way too uncomfortable. Now, Myra is a Brazilian national who has been in the UK since December. Her family did not know that she had traveled to the country. Appearing through video link, Myra did speak on camera, but only to confirm her name. She didn't have much else to share. And it's also kind of creepy that her family had no idea she was out here trying to stalk Harry. I mean, maybe I actually do have a little bit of empathy for her because she's probably mentally ill and convinced herself that Harry wants to be with her. So she pled guilty to stalking involving serious alarm or distress and was hit with a 10-year restraining order.
She has been captured. They were on the case. They got her, girl. She got 14 weeks in prison and a restraining order over 10 years. And she cannot be around Harry Styles, girl. Trust Mose. Let me just say, Harry, I'm glad you're okay, girl. I'm sure you were really wrecked about all of this and you were fearing for your life. A 35-year-old woman that was obsessed with you, girl. I guess that's what happens when you're in the biz. But all in all, everything's fine now, girl. She's in the poker. She's not going to bother you, girl. And if she tries it, girl, she's going back to jail.
Some people in the comments are shook by how many cards she sent over. I mean, you've got to keep in mind that she has spent thousands and thousands in postage. She's staying in a hostel, which is not typically, a place you want to stay at for long. So she's probably using a lot of her own money just to send this mail. And maybe her thinking is that these cards will help Harry notice her and maybe he would read them and want to go on a date with her or something. But I wouldn't even know how to send 8,000 cards through an online system or what you would type in those notes. I mean, was it just like gibberish or did she sit there for hours and hours writing thoughtful messages? This person tweeted in response to her sentencing, "This is well deserved because it's genuinely scary and Harry and no other celebrity deserves this." Another person wrote, "This is scary. I hope he's okay." Another person wrote, "Get away from him, Myra. Get a job." Another person wrote, "Isn't this a bit extreme? Asking for a friend." Another person wrote, "Oh, Myra, she must be jobless down. She's got way too much time on her hands." And I think that's the general consensus. And, maybe it's funny to see the sheer amount of cards and how she, has been sending these. And we can laugh at it, but imagine being on the receiving end. I wouldn't want that.
It says Harry Styles alleged stalker sent him 8,000 handwritten letters and cards in less than a month. And I'm thinking, handwritten? I know this person's hand was tired, honey. 8,000 handwritten letters? No, but in all seriousness, those celebrity stalkers are really scary to me. This is terrifying. Like, I would not find this endearing at all. I'd be petrified.
Now, this isn't the first time that Harry Styles has been shaken up because he actually locked himself in his bedroom at night after being stalked by a homeless man. Harry has been targeted by a stalker before. In 2019, a homeless man spent months camped outside the pop star's home. And actually, this guy was found guilty of this offense. His name is Pablo, and the first time that Harry had encountered him outside, he said it was sad to see someone so young sleeping rough. So actually, Harry pulled up in his car and offered Pablo some money to get a hotel room or some food, which Pablo declined. The next day, Harry actually brought Pablo food from a vegan restaurant, in response to which the man asked to go to a restaurant, which Harry found a little bit odd. Harry actually said that his facial expression made him a little uneasy because he's trying to offer this guy some money, offer him some help, and then his request is to go and spend some time with Harry at a sit-down restaurant? Like, no thank you. Harry said, "I asked him if he needed any food. He asked for some edamame beans, so I stopped at a vegan cafe and I brought him 2 sandwiches, 2 salads, 2 muffin, all heated, and took him to Pablo. I passed him the bag of food through a car window, to which he asked me if I wanted to go to a restaurant to eat with him. I told him I was on my way to work. I found it a little odd. His facial expression made me feel uneasy. It was like a smirk." From that point on, Harry says that he felt unsafe at his own home. Now, the judge is on Harry's side and describes him as a reliable and credible witness. Pablo continued to be homeless outside of Harry's home and would put post-it notes and money through the singer's letterbox. He then began showing up to Harry's local pub about 4 times a week, entering the establishment anywhere between a minute or 2 minutes after Harry Styles had arrived. So Harry realized the guy who's outside his home is going to the same pub that he likes to hang out with, and he is being followed. Harry said he would just kind of watch and look over and wait for me to leave. I was very confused, very, very uncomfortable, and very confused. I didn't really understand it. Now, the situation escalated in May when Pablo Pablo reportedly lunged at Harry Styles in an attempt to grab him while he was jogging through a park. Holy crap. Harry went on to learn that Pablo actually believed that he was the soulmate of Harry Styles and he was spiritually protecting him, which is really scary because clearly Pablo is not mentally well. When asked about this, he said that he was never trying to stalk Harry. In the end, I just wanted the money he offered me. I don't have any feelings. I'm not in love with him. But Harry argues that Pablo's behavior became erratic and frightening and that he had to lock his bedroom door every night after realizing he was being followed, which is never okay. I mean, Harry Styles works very hard. He should feel safe in his own home. He said he would lock his bedroom doors and assess for weak spots in his residence. And if he saw multiple people on occasions, he viewed them differently than he would before. I mean, he started becoming full out paranoid. Now in 2019, Pablo was barred from going near Harry Styles and from posting about the star on social media after being convicted of stalking. So again, at least the system in the UK are, punishing these people for these crimes. I mean, these are crimes.
Harry's homeless stalker, Pablo Terrazago Orrero, dodging jail time and receiving a restraining order back in October. Pablo was found guilty of stalking Harry and posting cash and notes through his mailbox and was hit with a restraining order which bans him going anywhere within 250 meters of Harry and attending any of his shows. The robber in this case was not identified to be Pablo. The source also revealed to the outlet, quote, "He actually played it pretty cool, quickly giving the assailant cash, keeping himself and the guy calm, and getting the situation over with. Understandably, though, it left him very shaken up afterwards."
Before Pablo was convicted, he actually denied the charge, saying that it was all Harry's fault, that Harry was the one hitting on him and offering him this money. Harry's lawyer said that Mr. Styles felt sorry for a young man that was living without a home during winter, and it was cold and it was raining, and he noticed him, and he, his heart is soft, he's warm, he wanted to help him out, but he, I guess, won't help the next person because Pablo ruined it for everyone. The judge concluded with that Pablo knew perfectly well that he was doing this and he was harassing Harry Styles, so he was, I guess, released on bail, but he's not allowed to go near Harry. Now, if you thought that this story didn't have any turns to it, then you thought wrong, because that's not the end of Pablo, but it was the end of Pablo, because Pablo is actually a trans woman who identifies as Diana now. Keep in mind that Pablo is not a United Kingdom citizen. Diana, now we're going to switch pronouns. I want to make it very clear while being respectful. We were speaking of Pablo and his previous male identity and how he was outside of Harry's place and was accepting money and thought they had the spiritual protection. Well, now Pablo got in trouble, got out on bail, found themselves, and became Diana. Diana is still now actively stalking Harry at this point. Actually, Harry Styles' stalker was accused of forcing her way into the star's home. So again, Pablo, now Diana, is said to have arrived in London and forced their way into Harry's home, accused of using violence to force their way inside, pushing a woman working at the address into a wall. Now keep in mind, Diana, previously known as Pablo, was barred from going to Harry's home because they were accused of stalking in 2019. Well, Diana was arrested and appeared in court. She screamed and talked incoherently throughout the hearing and at one point threw herself on the floor. She was removed from the court and taken down to the cells after repeatedly shouting, "Harry, I'm not going to hurt him. I love him." Now, Diana was charged with breaching a restraining order by turning up at the victim's home, and there was some criminal damage to the property because she had broke a potted plant while fighting with this employee.
I'm not surprised he has harassers. I mean, I think it's one of those things that are part and parcel of being a celebrity. But one thing about being a celebrity that I feel like people, when you want to become a celebrity, don't consider is, or people that comment on celebrities, they don't consider, is the fact that they're still human. Right. They still feel fear, and I'm sure that doesn't help contribute to their mental health and them wanting to experience with substances and just to, numb it.
I mean, this is insane that Harry Styles has been able to survive and continue creating while having such distractions. Now, Diana denied the charges of common assault on his employee and damaging the property. She also claims that she didn't use any violence to secure entry into the premises, but really, are we buying that? Because I'm not. I mean, it sounds like she was aggressive. She says, "I declare myself guilty for breaching the restraining order and entering the house, but not guilty for assault." Diana was currently being held at the hospital and she had a trial date set. After this incident, moment, Harry realized that they need to have a full-time officer hired to keep these stalkers away. But the security worker also experienced some scary messages from Diana. This article writes that Harry's obsessive stalker threatened to kill his security consultant, whom she saw as a barrier to having a relationship with the pop star. The antics of 29-year-old Diana left Harry Styles' own security consultant fearing for her life. She actually went to court and told the judge that Diana was threatening to kill her. The security officer claims that she was bombarded with over 100 abusive messages and calls, and she said it was terrifying.
This is genuine trauma. I'm so angry for him. I hope he's doing okay. I hope he's found somewhere that he feels safe, that he can stay. And I hope that the court do something about it, because this should never happen to a person. Celebrity or not, they're human beings.
I think after this incident, the government, the officials, the authorities, they need to step in. Diana was detained under a mental health order and agreed to a stalking order at the magistrate's court. Hopefully Diana does get some serious help. I mean, we see the system fail people time and time again in America, but it's different in the UK, and clearly she needs some help, and our boy Harry Styles needs some peace of mind. I mean, please, I feel like he's gone through way too much, but I want to hear what you guys think of this incredibly crazy story in the comments below. So many twists and turns. I didn't even know what I was getting into. So I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in a new one soon. Bye, guys.